The worst nightmare for anyone is getting locked up for a crime they didn't commit. These people we'll be talking about in today's episode of Crime 101 know this feeling pretty well, and their reactions will make your heart melt. Number 1. Devonte Sanford. At the age of 14, Devonte Sanford was charged and convicted of murdering 4 individuals at a den in Detroit in 2007. Sanford was wrongfully arrested by the police officers while he was standing outside his home, which was a few blocks from the crime scene. He was taken into custody by the cops, and after 2 days of interrogation without a parent or guardian present, he confessed to the crime and pleaded guilty. The court sentenced him to 37 to 90 years in prison, despite being blind in one eye. Sanford was later on released by the court on July 19, 2016, when a professional hitman confessed credibly to the murders, and it became clear that there was no way the 14-year-old Devonte was involved in any way. When Devonte Sanford was released, he was seen smiling with his brother and mother as he made his way back home. Number 2. Bobby Johnson. In 2007, a 16-year-old boy named Bobby Johnson was convicted of murdering 70-year-old Herbert Fields. Fields was fatally shot in an apparent robbery while sitting in his car. As a suspect in Fields' murder, Johnson was arrested by the cops in absence of his parents or guardian. During the interrogation, the cops coerced Johnson by telling him that they had physical evidence that linked him to the crime, even though they didn't have any. They told him that if he pleaded guilty, he will be released on probation, but if he doesn't, he'd have to stay to face the death penalty. Seeking his release, Johnson's attorneys asked the New Haven State's Attorney's Office to re-examine the police and court records in Johnson's case. Upon looking at these records, it was evident that the murder was committed by another perpetrator. In light of this evidence, Bobby Johnson was released at the age of 25. After hearing this news, Bobby couldn't contain his happiness when reunited with his family after 9 long years. Number 3. Luis Vargas. In 1999, Luis Vargas from California was convicted of sexually assaulting and raping 3 women when his DNA was found at the scene. The crime was actually committed by an attacker known as the Teardrop Rapist. He was known as the Teardrop Rapist because of a teardrop tattoo under his eye. Coincidentally, Vargas had a similar tattoo on him as well, which the victims identified. Based on the evidence, Vargas was sentenced to 55 years imprisonment for 3 counts of sexual assault. Vargas maintained his innocence throughout his time in prison and contacted California Innocence Project for his case. CIP retested Vargas's DNA and found out that it didn't match the one found at the crime scene. Based on this revelation, Vargas was released from prison after serving 16 years for a crime he didn't commit. When Vargas was announced this news, he felt relieved as he succeeded in proving his innocence after several years. Number 4. Susan Mellon. In 1997, a mother of 3, Susan Mellon, was falsely convicted of gruesomely murdering her ex-boyfriend Rick Daly. She was convicted solely based on a false statement by a witness which had several inconsistencies, as highlighted by her defense attorney. She was sentenced to life imprisonment without the possibility of parole. However, Mellon firmly believed that one day she'll see the dawn, the truth will prevail. After 17 years, a gang was arrested and one member of the gang was linked to the killing of Daly. Mellon was proven innocent and was released from prison in 2014. She reunited with her children and was very happy to see her grandson and family. Her reaction was simply priceless. Number 5. Ricky Johnson. This man, Ricky Johnson, is the one whose life was heavily impacted by the flawed judicial system. He was convicted in 1975 for murdering a businessman on the streets of Cleveland. He, alongside 2 other men, were convicted solely on the basis of testimony by a kid who claimed he saw Ricky kill the man. Ricky was sentenced to death by electrocution, but his sentence was later on changed to life imprisonment. After nearly 4 decades, the paperboy who confessed against the trio came forward and told the jury that he lied about Ricky murdering the man. In 2014, 39 years after his conviction, Ricky Johnson was released from prison after spending his entire adult life in jail for a crime he didn't commit. Upon hearing this news, Jackson couldn't hold his smile and tears rolled down his eyes as he finally received the justice he was looking for. That's all for today. Let us know whose reaction melted your heart the most. And until then, we'll see you next time with another story. Till then, have a nice day.